Hi, my name is Christy Terry. This is one of the scenarios. This is actually Module 5 for EDLE 8304. And today I'm going to be talking through leading through resistance, a principal's perspective. So this scenario, I am a second year principal. My school that I am now a principal of has had a lot of turnover, and so I came in last year doing a lot of listening, and so didn't make very many changes. Did a lot of listening, a lot of observing, and according to feedback, my staff, I think, has gained a lot of trust in me. And so now is for the fun year. So we are going to be building capacity among our leadership team. I've established a really good leadership team, and I want to build capacity among them and team leaders. I also have gotten a great deal or a very big increase. I think was 93% of my staff, thinks that there are positive things going on at school, and so we're in a good place to move forward and start focusing on Tier 1 instruction and educational best practices. So that's where we are now. However, I do have an issue with one of my teams, and I have a challenge in 4th grade. And so in 4th grade, we are going to talk through some things. Some things I have noticed is the concern here is inconsistent attendance at collaboration meetings, use of planning time for non-instructional tasks such as making copies or worksheets or things like that, which we all agreed that we would not do, that would be an additional time in our day. The team leader has a negative attitude, and so we want to possibly address that. And what is the biggest issue is they have the lowest academic growth in school, in the school that I'm in. So those are the things that of course is the problem. And then I want to develop a time where I'm going to talk with the 4th grade team leader. So I'm going to meet with that team lead, and I'm going to use the FRIS model to kind of structure my conversation. And so the FRIS model stands for facts, rules, impact, suggestions, and then knowledge. And so what we want to do is, through this conversation, what I'm trying to figure out is of course there's some sort of resistance, but I'm wanting to know from the team, from this conversation, is this rational or irrational resistance? So and just kind of talking through that, some different examples. Some rational basically lacks clarity, needs support, but they're still open to feedback, just meaning lots of support for this person and this team, versus irrational, which is that defiant or sarcastic kind of personality, and in conversations ignores expectations, and then resistant despite help. So in my experience, just kind of talking off the hip, this is something that's very, very, very familiar with me, to me. So actually this current school year, I have mine's not the 4th grade team, mine is my 3rd grade team. So this is something that speaks near and dear to my heart, which is why I chose this scenario. So in most cases, probably I'd say 95% of the teachers that I've worked with have all been that rational resistance. I have encountered an irrational resistance where they are really just, despite all the help and support that we have tried to provide this teacher this year, and this is actually the second one in my career of 20 years. And so that's hard. It doesn't come along. Those people do not come along very often, but it does happen. So it is nice to have this sort of framework in order to lead this conversation, so that we can kind of decide, is this rational or irrational resistance? So I was excited to read this chapter. So basically through my conversation, I want to determine if this is rational or irrational resistance. So rational resistance it definitely stems from understanding, or that lack of understanding, or support. So we want to reiterate the purpose behind our collaborative model. We want to clarify roles and expectations, and we want to offer additional coaching or modeling sessions. And then I have a quote down there from our book, Time for Change. And then if resistance is due to a lack of will, we want to document ongoing issues, reinforce or establish expectations, and initiate formal accountability measures such as professional growth. And so that's where then that you document and then go on that professional growth plan. And like I said, that does not happen very often in most cases. I would say, of course, 95%, it's more that rational resistance where we just need some more support, some additional support. And so next steps, what does that look like? So you want to schedule a follow-up meeting, of course, to monitor the progress. I would say get in and attend those collaboration meetings. Like, go to those review collaborative session notes regularly. That was part of, I think, in our book. But honestly, I would get in those collaborative session meetings. And if I need to actually invite that team to go and observe another collaborative team meeting, then give them that opportunity to really see what it looks like. So it may not be that they're not resistant. They just may not know what their role is and how they're supposed to lead their team. So you want to be able to build their capacity so that they can lead that team. And then also looking at your team leader, like, is that person the best for that job? Maybe they weren't ready for that, or maybe it was too much responsibility and so they just can't handle it. So having that honest conversation with them, I think telling them that you chose them for a reason, and you chose them because you saw that they had the capacity to lead their team. But then also having the honest conversation that if this is not the job for them, then we can definitely find a different way for them to be a leader in our school, but not necessarily lead that team. And then another step you could do is engage the entire fourth grade team to reestablish that shared vision, but then also those norms and expectations so that they know what that looks like. And so I really liked this quote from our reading. It says, "People support what they help create," and that is so true. And so that builds a strong team. So I hope you enjoyed this scenario. I definitely did, and it definitely hits home for me and my third grade team. So thank you for this opportunity.